Let's take a look at the dark history of death by electric chair. Did you know in the late 1800s people were still scared of this electricity, so power plants encouraged people to take tours of the facilities. People soon realised they got a wonderful tingle touching the railing that surrounded the electrical generator. That was until 1881 when George L. Smith had a few too many beers, went out with the friends, broke into the power plant, grabbed the railings with both hands and instantly killed himself. He was found the next morning, rigid, still holding onto the bars. This gave the inspiration for the electric chair. Did you know a dentist by the name of Alfred P. Southwick heard about this electrocution and thought this could be a humane alternative to hanging? So he invented the electric chair, an oak chair that would strap you down at the arms and legs, then tack one electrode to your back and one with a little skull tap and a damp sponge, then they'd fire 1700 volts through your body till you died. He took a few years to develop this and tested it on stray dogs until 1890 when the first electric chair execution happened. How did it go? Not well. A man by the name of William Kemmler was the first person to be executed by electric chair after murdering his wife Matilda with an axe. He even joked on the way to the chair saying, "Take your time, boys, do it properly, I'm in no rush." Unfortunately for him, they didn't. They started with 700 volts for around 17 seconds before the current failed. Witnesses said they could smell charred clothing and flesh, but he was far from dead. So they reset it and hit him with just over 1,000 volts for 2 minutes, to which he was just sat there smouldering and smoking, but clearly deceased. Alfred P. Southwick, after the execution, said, "From this day forward, we live in a higher civilization." I think he might have been a little bit wrong. In 1982, Frank J. Coppola was sentenced to death by electric chair. It took 2 55-second jolts of electricity to kill him, and on the second one, his head and leg burst into flames and filled the death chamber with smoke. What a way to go, eh? In 1983, John Evans' electrocution didn't go to plan either. The first burst of electricity blew the electrode straight off his leg, which then burst into flames. Then a giant spark flew out from the hood covering his head, right about the vicinity of his temple. The coroners entered and still found a heartbeat, so they reattached the electrode and shocked him again. They still found a heartbeat, so despite the pleas from his attorney, they decided to shock him again. The entire electrocution took 14 minutes, and his body was left charred and smouldering. In 1984, the electrocution of Alpha Otis Stevens didn't go to plan either. After the first shock failed to kill him, physicians had to wait 8 minutes to enter the chamber as his body was too hot. During that time, he took 23 laboured breaths. When they found he was still alive, they shocked him again. After the experience, the prison officials blamed him for not being a conductor of electricity. Stupid Alpha. In the execution of Wilbert Lee Evans in 1990, the first jolt caused blood to spew out from the right side of the mask covering his face. He then sat there and gurgled and made a sizzling sound as the blood dripped from his lips. He sat there moaning for a few minutes until the second jolt was applied that finally killed him. During the execution of Pedro Medina in 1997, the first jolt of electricity caused a foot-high crown of flames to shoot from the top of his head. The officials used the emergency switch to shut off the power, whilst Pedro sat there with his chest heaving until the flames died and death came. The officials blamed a dry sponge for the incident. Rookies, you never go in dry. In 1990, Jesse Joseph Trefero was sent to the electric chair after killing 2 law enforcement officers. It took 3 jolts to kill him, and this caused 6-inch flames to come shooting from the top of his head before death came. And after this, he was found to be innocent. Let's be honest, some of those were definitely f***ed up on purpose, right? Well, now I'm going to read you a description of death by electric chair by former Supreme Court Justice William Brennan. He describes how a prisoner's eyeballs may pop out, he may vomit blood, urinate and defecate as the electric shock passes through his body. The flesh, meanwhile, turns bright red as its temperature rises and he may even catch fire. Witnesses hear a sound like bacon frying and the unmistakable odour of burning flesh permeates the chamber. At post-mortem, the body is hot enough to blister the doctor's skin, so examination has to wait until the internal organs cool down. The brain has mostly a cooked appearance. Jesus Christ. So I'm guessing electrocution really hurts. Let's give it a go with this electric bat, see what all the wallop's about. Oh, bugger! Oh, don't do that. Ow.